We are live on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And I wanted to talk today about fear and worry in private practice. The truth is, anytime you do something new or something that's unknown, it's normal to have fears and concerns. But how do we mitigate that fear? Especially when, as therapists, we're brought up in a kind of system that teaches us to avoid litigation, lawsuit, to avoid negative feedback. We're never really empowered how to move through challenging things that we will face as clinicians, right? We want to provide competent care, of course. We want to abide by our ethics so that we do no harm to our clients. And even doing those things well and providing great outcomes, there still may be things that happen in our practices that we've done all the things right to avoid. So our culture, our education system has kind of taught us to be afraid of this stuff. But really, fear in our businesses comes from not understanding what we have the power to mitigate or control. When we focus on that, it can definitely lessen the fear. So when it comes to things like litigation or being subpoenaed in our private practice, we can get a lot of worries about doing it right, about messing up that process. And typically, it's simply because we haven't worked through what our process and our stance is, our court policy is going to be in our private practice. And this is one of those key documents that you need in your practice. In business school, we provide that to our members. But we're bringing in Nicol Stolar-Peterson, who's an expert on subpoenas, for a free training to talk about how to establish a process in your practice for managing subpoenas. Why is this? When we have a process in place, it can reduce our fear and stress. There's enough in the world to be afraid of and distress about. But the things that are in your control are creating policies, structure, processes so that you know how to handle things when they come up. Just like how we have inclement weather policies in our informed consent, or sick leave or cancellation policies. All these kinds of things are to help us set the framework with our clients. This is how we operate our business so that no one's caught off guard. Having a court policy lets the client know, hey, should you ever need to subpoena me, this is how I handle that. It's just another way of providing informed consent. And that informed consent allows for fear or worry to not be part of the therapeutic relationship. The lack of clarity and boundaries is when the fear and worry creep in. And I've seen this before in certain kinds of niches that people may work with. People may not take clients because they're afraid of litigation or that courts will be involved. And really, it's that they're afraid they don't have a process. If they have a process in place, it usually can empower them to do a really great job or have great work with these clients. But because they haven't thought through it, they just avoid it. And then the clients have to go find someone else to work with. You can't avoid the court system. You have a license. You're establishing a therapeutic relationship. It's not something you can avoid. You can avoid dealing with it, but that's actually causing you a lot of burden and stress and strain. So whenever you have worries in your practice or fears, think about, what do I have control over? What can I do to mitigate this and preempt catastrophe? And usually you're going to find having policies or procedures and having thought through how you want to handle these things will help you reduce the stress and the strain. I've even heard of people not going to private practice for this reason, because they want to avoid any chance of them going to court. You can get subpoenaed even if you have a job somewhere else. But this training that we're going to have Nicol do for us is solely focused on the private practice owner. So if you have considered going to private practice or you are in private practice, whether that be a solo or group practice, this training is for you. It is free. It is how we give back to our community. And we love working with Nicol because she's an expert witness. And based on recent events and trials in the media and things like this, I think it's really important that us as a profession stand up to what are really great standards for how we operate as professionals within the court system. And I'm hoping that this training will help empower you. So again, whenever you have worry or fear, what are you going to do? You're going to look at what you can control. You're going to look at processes that you can put into place so you can be clear about how you want to handle these things. And court subpoenas, you need to think through them because they are a very legit possibility. Even you can't just say, I'm not going to court. That does not work. You can't just tell a judge who subpoenas you, no, I never go to court. You need to have some processes in place. You need to understand what the fees will be for if you are subpoenaed. So join us for this training. If you are on Instagram, you can check in on the bio link. It'll take you to our upcoming events. If you're on any other social media platform, I put the links in as well that you can click through to join us. And we'd love to have you. Our goal as coaches at Zinni is to help empower you as a business owner so you can feel confident, so you can find ease, get those great clinical outcomes, and enjoy your life, right? And this is just one of those, we call it eating the frog in business school. One of those frogs we've got to eat. and we want to help make that easier for you. So we'd love to see you in the training. Have a good rest of your week.